Dayton, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ABC 22.
Well, we're waiting to hear more tonight about a multi-agency racketeering case here in the Miami Valley. Local, state, and federal law enforcement searching a home in Xenia early this morning. Some neighbors saying they woke up to helicopters circling that area. Someone on the loudspeaker telling whoever was inside to come out.
This comes as a news conference is now scheduled for tomorrow morning. Gwyneth Falloon is outside the federal courthouse where that press conference is expected to be held in just a matter of hours. So, Gwen, are these situations related?
Well, sources tell us they are related. Now, we know multiple agencies, including the ATF and the DEA, as well as dozens of other local departments, both here in the state of Ohio as well as out of the state, have been working together investigating what they're calling a racketeering conspiracy case. A normally quiet Xenia neighborhood, busy Thursday morning. Dozens of local, state, and federal law enforcement officers surrounding this home on Colorado Drive. Neighbors tell me they were woken up around 6 a.m. to a helicopter and loudspeaker and say this home wasn't the only one raided in the area. They say 2 other homes on Gayhart were searched in relation to a motorcycle gang. Officers can be seen wheeling bikes off the property and onto trailers. We have confirmed this incident is related to a violent racketeering conspiracy case.
It did originally refer to gangs and mob groups and things like that. It's broadened in its concept, in its meaning. Today, it can mean any kind of conspiracy or coordination among a group of people to do anything illegal. It could be extortion, it could be smuggling, it could be trafficking.
The Department of Justice says at least 14 people are involved and are accused of things like extortion, along with murder, arson, and assault.
If they're convicted, either at the federal level or the state level, then they could face substantial penalties. Up to and including, of course, the death penalty if there's murder involved.
Now, there are still a lot of unknowns tonight, but again, we are expecting to hear from those officials tomorrow morning at 11 right here at the Federal Building. Dayton 24/7 now. We're going to be in attendance for that news conference to bring you the very latest as soon as that's available. Back to you.
Gwen, thank you. This Xenia teen behind me pleading guilty to attempted murder and other charges following a deadly shooting. Now, the Greene County prosecutor says 19-year-old Tyon Thornton crashed a stolen car into several parked cars back in November, shot at 2 people who confronted him, then stood over a person and shot them several more times before leaving the scene. Now, that person luckily survived. The second person suffered minor injuries. He was later found in a gas station bathroom, facing a maximum prison term now of up to 41 years and will be back in court in July. We also know tonight this Darke County softball coach has been indicted on child pornography charges. Tonight we found federal court documents detailing the allegations against 36-year-old Matthew Schaafstall. Back in April, Darke County Sheriff deputies arrested him on child porn. Tonight we know he's accused of asking minors on that softball team to send nude photos. Prosecutors also say he threatened the children in order to get them to comply with his demands. Schaafstall remains behind bars tonight.
A live look at our roadways from our ODOT cameras here behind me, where you can see all lanes on I-75 North are back open after police tell us a person jumped out of a moving vehicle. This is what the highway looked like around 6 o'clock today. You can actually see here 75 North that traffic was stopped. This is right around State Route 36 near Piqua. One person taken to the hospital by care flight, but is expected to be okay.
An investigation also underway tonight after an accident involving a police cruiser happening around 10 o'clock this morning near West Riverview Avenue and North Broadway Street. Thankfully, nobody was hurt out of this. Dayton police working to learn who caused that crash. Also, the search for an escaped inmate in Columbus continuing. Police say it started when Quintel Baglet kidnapped his ex-girlfriend. She was eventually found safe and Baglet was arrested. Now, he then managed to get away from officers at the Fairfield Medical Center. Police say he's considered armed and dangerous. If you see that guy, do not approach. Call 911.
A beloved Mexican restaurant in Xenia will remain closed until further notice. This after a fire broke out this afternoon. We do know 2 people were hurt, but they're expected to be okay. Jenna Lee Bork is out in Xenia tonight. So, Jenna Lee, how much damage was done to that restaurant?
Yeah, Elise, most of the damage is to the back area around where the fire broke out. Luckily, the fire department was able to put it out before it spread to the front dining area where customers were. The company's treasurer tells me what her first thought was when she found out there was a fire.
Is everybody okay? That was my main concern. Is everybody okay? Did everybody get out on time?
On Thursday, a fire broke out at a popular Mexican restaurant in Xenia. Xenia's fire chief, Kenneth Rigsby, says 25 to 30 firefighters were sent out on the call.
We were dispatched at 210 on a dumpster fire that was close to the building. Upon arrival, there appeared that it was not a dumpster, and the fire was on the back of the building around an outdoor freezer.
Rigsby says the fire went up the outside wall and into the attic, with a small amount hitting the kitchen.
Our guys knocked down the outside fire rather quickly, but took a little longer to get up into the attic and get the fire knocked down in there.
Xenia's fire chief says it took about an hour to completely put it out. Los Mariachi's treasurer, Jenny Escamilla, says the manager helped 50 to 60 people get out, but he had to be taken to the hospital.
The ambulance came by, picked him up, took him in to give him breathing treatment. They just said to make sure, just keep an eye on if he's having a little more difficulty breathing to go back in, but he's doing good, and I'm just so glad that he's safe.
A firefighter was also injured but wasn't taken to the hospital.
We also had one firefighter that had a fall while fighting the fire and had a slight injury to his back.
Escamilla says this location has been open since 2003 and it's never had a fire. Now they will contact the insurance company and figure out how long the restaurant will have to be closed. In the meantime, they still have one way to serve customers.
We are planning to bring out our food truck to at least sell out of our food truck until we get the restaurant up and running.
Escamilla hopes the community will support them until they're back up and running. She says she's thankful for all of the help that the Xenia Fire Department provided. Back to you in studio.
All right, let's talk weather now. And after what seems like a long time, we might actually see maybe a couple raindrops.
Yeah, that's a way to describe it. A couple of raindrops.
Couple of raindrops, nothing severe.
Pretty much. Yeah, we have some showers making their way in. Some of us got a heavier pocket or two as it made its way in, mainly off to the northwest. There was a thunderstorm that even made its way through the Bell Fountain area, but now most of the rain is situated through parts of Darke County. Troy getting some light rainfall there. Heaviest activity is back off into Indiana, so Richmond got a little thunderstorm for you. But this is weakening as it makes its way in, so still can't rule out a spot shower or a thunderstorm for the rest of this evening. You can see you had a little rainfall through the Xenia area too. But as of temperatures, we're hanging out in the 70s. We're at 76 in Troy, 80 in Sydney, 70 in Wapakoneta, so it's warm. It's going to be mild overnight, lows dropping into the upper 60s, and again, stray shower or thunderstorm possible. But heading into next week, we have the heat and we have the humidity. I'm going to talk about how hot we'll get coming up in a bit.
Well, this month of June is Men's Health Month, and several organizations are spreading awareness. Eli Burgett spoke to doctors and representatives and has why this is an important topic to highlight.
Well, men's health is a subject that can be all too easily overlooked or pushed to the side. At a certain age, a large portion of men avoid regular checkups with their doctors, and they can miss medical issues that may require attention. The purpose of Men's Health Month is to raise awareness and encourage early detection of disease in men of all ages.
Guys, we tend to put things off till there's a problem, and even then we put it off, and then we show up and it's kind of a train wreck. So really highlighting it now and getting a little bit ahead of that curve and being able to talk to folks about, hey, it's good to get in there and get those preventative things done to prevent those bad things from happening later.
During Men's Health Month, several local organizations are pushing the importance of men monitoring their physical and mental health. Recent studies have shown that over 50% of men do not make regular doctor visits. This could be due to a lack of funds, societal expectations, or simply because they don't see the point. But in a time where these factors prevent many men from taking their health seriously, medical organizations across the country are committed to breaking down barriers and putting empathy first. Men's Health Month will run throughout the rest of June, but tomorrow, the Friday before Father's Day, you can show your support for men's health awareness by wearing blue on National Wear Blue Day. Back to you.
Breaking news tonight, the Supreme Court of the United States voting on reproductive freedoms, what their decision means for men and women across the nation.
Plus, I'm tracking a heat wave in the forecast. I'll let you know when it arrives. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our EcoPlumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Get discount general admission tickets at area Kroger stores.
The U.S. Supreme Court upholding access to abortion medication in a unanimous decision. The justices ruled that abortion opponents lacked legal right to sue the FDA's approval of mifepristone and the agency's actions to make it more accessible. Now, the drug was used in nearly 2/3 of all abortions in the country last year, and more than 6 million people have used it since 2000.
Here in the state of Ohio, mifepristone comes with a few regulations, including use restrictions after 10 weeks. So we called in a legal expert, Dr. Mark Clausen from Cedarville University, to see what today's decision now means for Ohioans.
What we're returning to is the situation before this case ever happened, which means that whatever Ohio law is at the time, right now, it continues.
The drug was used in almost 2/3 of abortions over the last year, and millions of people have used it over the last 2 decades.
All right, another beautiful shot here. This of Cox Arboretum. It was a nice day to get out and walk around, although it was a little bit warm, so it was a little precursor to what we're going to get next week.
Yeah, a little taste of summer, because next week it gets very hot. We're talking almost unbearably hot for us. But for right now, we got a few showers actually making their way in. Some nice relief for many of us. As far as precipitation, we're behind for the month, so we are getting some, especially off to the northwest. This front is going to make its way in, bringing us a few showers for the rest of the evening. Most places will be dry, but can't rule out a spot shower or storm. This will continue until around lunchtime or so. Temperatures in the 80s tomorrow, but we have cooler weather that makes its way in. So by Saturday, we actually are in the lower 80s with lower humidity. Sunday, we start to heat up, though. We'll stay quiet, staying dry, but we'll be right around 90 degrees by Sunday afternoon. I'm going to talk about how hot it will feel next week coming up in just a little bit.
Former President Donald Trump back on Capitol Hill meeting with House and Senate Republicans today. It's his first trip back since the January 6th riots. Reports show it was a gripe-filled meeting with Trump attacking critics within the party and bashing his legal challenges rather than focusing on policy. Now, despite tension within the ranks, Trump says they got great unity.
This is an outstanding group of people. I'm with them 1,000%. They're with me 1,000%. We agree just about on everything, and if there isn't, we work it out.
Now, during the meeting, lawmakers celebrated his birthday early, giving him gifts. He turns 78 tomorrow.
Republicans ramped up their defense of the former president against his New York conviction of falsifying business records. House Judiciary Committee Republicans held a hearing today to slam Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. They say his prosecution of Trump was too political and outside of prosecuting norms to, quote, get Trump. Democrats say Republicans don't respect the law and question their reasoning to protect the former president.
And there's the fundamental issue. No one knows what the federal crime is. Bragg and Colangelo bootstrap charges federal prosecutors declined to bring into some kind of never-seen felony.
We sit here today for one reason and one reason only. House Republicans are willing to do just about anything to protect Donald Trump from the consequences of his actions.
Now, Bragg has agreed to testify publicly before the committee on July 12th. That's one day after Trump will be sentenced in New York.
And President Biden meeting with G7 leaders today in Italy to discuss global economic security.
The decisions I think we make now are going to determine the course of our future for the next 5 or 6 decades. And I truly believe the infrastructure we're building and the investments we're making through PGI are going to help set that course in a fundamentally stronger path.
The Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment has pledged $600 billion over 5 years to strengthen and diversify supply chains, infrastructure, delivery, energy, and healthcare to underserved areas, plus raise labor and environmental standards.
A live look now from our Eco Plumber Skycam over the city of Dayton. Let's send it out to Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Well, not too bad of an evening out here in our Watson's Weather patio. Got a couple of showers around, and we'll take whatever rain we can get because we don't have a whole lot of rain in the forecast. Taking a look at the rain we've seen, 1.11 inches so far. We actually had a trace reported in Dayton today, but we are 0.69 inches behind so far for the month, and it is getting pretty dry out there. That's something that we're anticipating through the weekend is a fairly dry forecast with the exception